Hey guys, it's me, and today we're building a realistic blush cafe or blush bookstore cafe, LC. The thing is, right, I'm sure you already know that because you saw the thumbnail or the thumb title, whatever. But what you don't know is that this is the second time I'm recording this cafe, bro. Oh my god. I don't know what happened exactly. The thing is, right, I still have the footage. The footage didn't go from my laptop, but when I'm opening the video clips, the raw footage, it's not opening. Like, it's the screen is black, it's not playing. So I'm not sure what happened. So that basically means that I had to sit and make this cafe again, bro. At one point, I was like, you know what, I'll just make something else. I'll make a suburban house, I'll make a cottage, I'll just make a video that's easy and I'll get it over in like one day or something. And you know, when the videos are short, editing doesn't take time. But the thing is, I loved this cafe. I absolutely loved it. The inside, the outside, there was so much color and you know, there was so much whimsy, and I was so proud of the build that I wanted you guys to see it. So I was like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna sit and I'm gonna make this again. So the first time I made it, it took me like a week because I think, you know, I was looking at inspo and I was searching for decals and I was searching for which plants to use and I was thinking of the layout and the colors and stuff like that. So it took me like a week to build. But this time, the second time, I finished it in a day, in one day. I think it was also because those entire 7 days I wasn't constantly working on it. I was obviously taking breaks in between, but I sat yesterday and I sat today and I completed this build, bro. I completed it. So I hope you enjoy the video.
No, I sense I've made a mistake of some kind.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's happening to my life right now. But the moment I started recording my voiceover, some DJ started on the ground floor of my building. There was just random music, and at first I thought it was my neighbor. So I was actually so ready to go and just throw like a pencil or something at the window because their window is like right next to my window, so I can like throw stuff to their window. So I was gonna throw a pencil at them, but I looked down and I was like, no. It's actually my building people. I don't know what to call them. So yeah, they're not friends. I don't know them that well.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So they just randomly decided to party at the moment I started recording, bro. How is that possible? Oh my god. So coming back, I just want to talk about my week. I've had some really interesting things going on recently. Like one of my subjects in college, right, is called podcast and community radio, and it's basically what it's called. We learn how to make podcasts well. We learn how to speak. So now for our end semester assignment, we basically have to create an interview podcast, and we have to tell our sir a topic. He's going to assign it to us. It's going to get booked, and then we, according to that topic, have to interview someone. So the topic that we've chosen is basically the alumni of our college, and our idea was to basically interview some notable alumni that have come from our college. And so we got for work, right, and different work is assigned to different people. Everyone does have to speak for like 1 minute, but there's also a lot of back-end work that needs to be done, so it's divided among all of us. So there are some who will sit and email all of the alumni, there are some who will do the script writing, there are some who will sit and be the radio jockeys, there are some who will decide the arrangements of when we will meet, where will we meet, you know, handling all the equipment, bringing all the equipment, stuff like that. So I decided to be the script writer, and oh my god, I am so happy I decided to do that, bro. Like the other day, right, my friend started with the script and she kind of just like GPT'd a lot of stuff. So I was like, okay. But the thing is, right, I love writing. I absolutely love writing. But I haven't done it in a long time. So now that I had the opportunity to write, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna write the script. So I started editing her script at like 7 p.m. or something, and I wrote till like 3 a.m. bro, 3 a.m. and it made me feel so happy. Like I was exhausted, but I was a good exhausted, you know what I mean? Like I had so much fun and I felt so much creative fulfillment like writing, because I love it, but I haven't done it in a long time. I think that's where I think my love for books has stemmed from writing. My love for writing. Okay, my bad. My love for writing has stemmed from books as well, I think.
Have you ever had a dream that you
So this build essentially was going to be a cafe, and I was like, you know what, I'll make it pink, I'll make it cutesy. And the thing is, right, even though this cafe is pink, I'm not keeping it like a bright pastel pink like a lot of people like it. I don't really like bright colors in my builds. I feel like it's a bit much. So like this build too, right? It's pink, but it's pastel pink, but it's a dark pastel. It's not a bright pastel, you know? And I kind of like the vibe of it actually. You know, it's dark pastel and it's wood and it's green and it has this botanical feel that I love. Which is why I think I really loved this cafe so much, because it's sort of the vibe that I have for myself as well, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like cafes are one of those places where you can just sit and you can sit alone and read and drink and eat, and it's the one place where I think no one will judge you. Like, I feel like if you go for the movies, if you go alone, it's kind of like, you know, you'll see everyone and they'll be in groups or they'll be with their parents or with their friends and stuff, and it's kind of like, I don't know, feeling alone feels a little weird. Like, especially for me, like if I'm sitting alone at a movie theater, I do feel weird. Or even at a restaurant or something, like I do know that there's this new thing come up where people are like, go to a restaurant, have food alone, you love the company, and I do think that's true. I'm like a huge believer in being at peace with your own company is more important than anyone else's company in the world. I'm a huge believer in that. But I also feel that you can get judged if, you know, you sit alone in a restaurant and eat or something like that. But I feel like cafes and like bookstore cafes are one of those places where it just doesn't happen. Or maybe it doesn't happen for me because I'm in my comfort zone, I'm not sure. But I love those places because you can just sit alone, read a book, sit there the entire day, eat, drink, read. Like that's my idea of heaven, you know, like I just love that. I feel like one of the reasons I'm such a big reader is that it's been kind of just ingrained in me. Like, I don't think of myself as a reader. Like, reading has just been in my life since I was a kid. Because when I was young, right, my mom would literally read me 20 books a day. So I would sleep in the afternoon and I would sleep at night. So it would be 10 before sleeping in the afternoon and 10 books before sleeping in the night, and I would never let her skimp out, okay, never. So if she took out 9 books instead of 10, I used to be like, excuse me, no, one more. So she used to read me 20 books each day, and then I grew up and I started reading on my own, you know, and the habit just never went away. So I think that's why I'm such a big reader as well, and that's why I think this cafe was initially going to be just a cafe. It was just going to be coffee, but I was like, it can be a bookstore cafe. I feel like that's such a good idea, and I feel like more cafes need to just have books with them, bro. I feel like cafes are for socializing, but I feel like it's also for like introverts or people who just want to stay alone, you know, stuff like that. So I feel like books would be such a good way to do that, for people to just come in, spend some quality time with themselves, you know.
Want a break from the ads? Want a break from the ads?
I think my favorite book that I'm reading right now would probably be Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. It's a little dark, I'll admit, but it's also one of the first times I'm reading like a Russian author. I usually don't do that, but you know, I've been growing up recently and I was like, you know what, I want to read more adult books, like older books. So I went around some Russian authors and I actually read a lot of good things about Fyodor Dostoevsky. So I've been reading Crime and Punishment. I'm around halfway through, I think. Like, if you've read Crime and Punishment basically, or if you haven't read it, it's basically, up to what I've read, it's basically about this man who is very poor and he's suffering in life, you know, he's depressed, and he basically knows a girl who he basically lends money to. He doesn't lend money to, he takes money from her, he borrows money from her, and one day he just decides to kill her. I feel like that's such a like nutshell way of saying the story, but yeah, the book is basically about murder, and you know, the part I've reached right now, he has killed her. So he basically kills this one lady and he kills her daughter or daughter-in-law, something like that. So right now it's it's like he's just killed her and he's trying to, go about his life after killing someone, and it's basically about what it's doing to his conscience. So I feel like it's very interesting. I've also read that the book is basically about, someone's conscience and how they deal with themselves, and I feel like the main character is such an interesting guy. So I mean, I haven't read the whole thing, so I feel like I just can't recommend it just yet, but if you guys do want to read Crime and Punishment, after what I've read until now, it's actually pretty good. So while I was building this cafe, I was really focusing on the aesthetics. I think I was very heavy aesthetic in this build, and I feel like some people think aesthetics are very shallow, but I don't think I agree with that, to be honest. I feel like the way a space looks also affects how you feel, even if you notice it or even if you don't notice it. Like soft colors make your thoughts softer, I feel, and warm lighting, quiet spaces, these are all parts of an aesthetic. So this cafe isn't just a build, it's also an environment that I'm trying to create, and it needs to be like a cozy, aesthetic, comfortable cafe. It's why I also chose pink as a color. Actually, I feel like pink is just such a comforting color and brings so much warmth. And even wood, actually, the entire accent colors of this cafe is wood and green, and I feel like those are all such calming colors that it adds to the cozy aesthetic of my build. Okay, but imagine if this cafe was real. Like, you're just walking on the road and you just randomly see this place and decide to walk in. I don't think this would be a loud cafe. I feel like this cafe would be one of those where it would just be on the corner of a street and an underrated place, and only the locals know about it and they come to enjoy it. I feel like this cafe is that kind of vibe. I feel like the mornings here would be really slow. Like, barely anyone comes in here except like one or two people who are regulars and they come there all the time. And I'd probably open it early, not because it's like busy or anything, because I just like the idea of slow mornings. I think the menu of this place would also be really simple. I honestly feel like most of the stuff that would be sold here would be like sweet dishes. Like, I don't think this place would sell pizzas or like burgers and stuff. I think it would more of be like pastries and donuts and cakes and cupcakes and stuff like that. I think this would be the kind of place that people would come alone, just because I feel like bookstore cafes are definitely that kind of place. Not in like a sad way and anything, just like in a peaceful way. Like, headphones on, book open, coffee next to them, nobody rushing anyone. And it would definitely have regulars. I feel like the one thing that this cafe would have is regulars. I feel like they'd be the kind where, those regulars who go, I'll just have my usual. I feel like this cafe would have that. They would just come and be like, can I have my usual? And be like, yes. And I'll give them the usual, whatever it is. And here time would move slow and you just come in for a coffee and stay for 2 hours, and the afternoons would be quiet. And I don't think this cafe would ever be crowded. I feel like it is an underrated place. Even if people are there, it would be calm. And I feel like if I worked here, if it was real, I think I just spend most of my time like tidying shelves and wiping tables and stuff, because if I own something, I need to take care of it, bro. And I think reading books, obviously, I think that would be pretty fun. And I think this would be a very non-judgmental kind of place. I feel like a cafe like this would just attract quiet people, you know what I mean? And it would smell really good. This cafe would smell amazing. Hey guys, we're finally done with this build, bro. It took me so long, but I'm honestly so proud of it right now. And I just love the colors I've used. It's this dark pink purple sort of shade, which I absolutely love. I also added some decal trees over here, which I thought were cute. This one I think is still fine, but this one a little questionable, but you know what, it's fine. I added some books here as well. I wanted to give it that, book cafe sort of vibe. Then I added a bit of a circular decal here. I'm not really sure. All the decals that I found here, I can't really link them or anything. I'm so sorry, because honestly I just found them on Pinterest. If you really want good decals, you can either look at creator inventories, obviously, or you can look at Pinterest decals. I honestly love some of the Pinterest decals I see. So there's one. There's also a special menu dessert menu kind of decal, and if you look at it closely, these are actually all Bloxburg items, so that's cute. So once you open it, I just love the view that you get from there. This looks so cute. Oh my god, it's adorable. I also went off camera and I actually manually baked a lot of the items here. So there's baklava, there's this chapa bread, cookies, cupcakes, cakes. So I manually baked all these and placed them on the trays. The only decal books that I ended up adding were these ones on the counter, because I felt like these on the bookshelves over here looked a little fake, not sure. So this is a basic shapes cake that I found so cute, and it's basically a red velvet cake with white frosting. And if you go inside, these are the cups, these are the menu. The inside itself looks so cute too. I love the arches and the pillars and all the machinery and the cups, etc. Even the menu, bro, this menu is so cute. And then this is actually a decal that I found on Pinterest, and it just perfectly matched the colors I was going for in my build, so I just love that. And this is what the counter looks like from behind. I didn't add a cashier. There is a cashier in game, but it honestly costs Bloxburg and I didn't want to use those Bloxburg. So this is actually like an old computer that I added here, and I honestly think it looks very cute. And this entire scene, even from inside the kitchen, this entire bakery looks so cute. Then most of the seating area that I added were on the sides. So this is some seating area that I added. Two of them are just dining areas, and these are all custom tables, and I added like 2 seats in between with a table just so there's a difference in the seating a bit and it all doesn't look the same. And there is a seating area here as well, of course, right in front of the bookshelf, because I feel like that just looks so cozy with some fairy lights. I also added vines to the bookshelf, which I thought was so cute, so cute. And this is like the nook of the cafe, so I feel like even here the seating area looks so pretty, and I feel like this entire cafe just has this sort of cozy vibe that I absolutely love. A moment for the custom ceilings, please, by the way. I made custom ceilings. I feel like working in Bloxburg, I started adding more details to my builds simply because I know people will be watching this and they're going to judge how I make my builds and stuff. So I feel like I've become more detail oriented just because of that. So I added some decal plants as well. And honestly, I love how the build looks today. I feel like this just looks absolutely gorgeous, especially the open sign in between. I feel like it's just adding to the entire vibe of the cafe. So yeah, this was my interpretation of a realistic blush cafe. Let me know what you think, and if you want more videos like this, please consider liking, sharing and subscribing. I would really appreciate it, and it motivates me to make more videos. And if you want, honestly, you can comment down what are the video ideas I can make, because I feel like Bloxburg is something where you can run out of ideas very fast. So if you all want to suggest challenges or video ideas or build ideas or anything, comment down below, and I'll see you later. Bye.